So today in this video, I would want to talk about healing emotional wounds, or something many of you may term as trauma. Now, trauma comes in so many ways, shapes and forms. Trauma comes in from difficult experiences that one may have endured. Could be in their childhood or could be at a certain stage in their lives. Now, of course, this channel I usually emphasize narcissism. So me personally as an individual, it had usually been trauma uh, that was caused to the narcissistic abuse experience. And that also involves dysfunctional family units, including relationship or friendship partners. Now, when you're talking about these kind of wounds, they are very deep wounds. So we're not talking about some wounds whereby you will just go to a doctor and they will give you some medication, you know, and then you swallow, and then all of a sudden you feel better about yourself. So those are physical wounds. The wounds of the kind of wounds you heal with medication. So those can be sometimes physical wounds. You get particular um, medications because you've been suffering a physical wound. But when you're talking about emotional wounds, those wounds they go directly into the brain. So those are wounds that are very, very difficult because those kind of that trauma normally it targets the subconscious. So those are things that are very deep within the subconscious and very, very difficult to get out of there. So normally most of the times I've told you guys this kind of healing we're talking about in these videos is very difficult healing. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes you don't even know if you'll ever heal at some point. Even some of us who have healed, who think that we have healed, at least we believe we have healed, there is still some other things we feel we really need to heal, although the biggest problems have actually been gotten out of the way. Now, you guys have heard about people talking about narcissists, and we have always said actually, it is very difficult for a narcissist to heal. You know what I mean? So the reason of that is because those individuals, they have got a lot of trauma, usually that trauma which has happened at some point in their journey. Maybe they are from their families, or I don't know what, maybe for example, from their own personal life experiences, and those wounds have gotten very deep into them, and those things that they've experienced, they have caused them to start hurting people. So you see, most of the times, um, the narcissist does not understand that they have got a problem. So a lot of these narcissists, they're in denial. Many of them, when you start telling them about the things that they need to heal, or you start telling them about the things they have done wrong, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't have said that, a lot of times they are gaslighting you because they don't want to have that kind of accountability, or rather responsibility of the things they have said or they have done to you. So they're always living in denial, and they're living behind the curtains. They will come around and abuse someone, inflict some degree of pain, and then they'll go back into hiding. So when you catch up on them, they will gaslight you that whatever is going on around you is in your head. So they'll always run away from this shame of the things that they have always done. That is one of the reasons as to why it is very difficult to heal from this kind of to heal for the narcissists themselves to heal. It's very, very difficult. Some of them are putting in the work because they are going into therapy. Recently I've been seeing a lot of them. They are going into therapy and trying to find ways that they can get out of this. Although there hasn't been a successful story, I would like to know about that if there's one. I would like to know if there's been a properly successful story of a narcissist that has healed from their narcissism. But we are going to focus today on the empath. So as a survivor, and I'm talking from my own perspective as a survivor and a thriver of narcissistic abuse. So I will somewhere somehow let you guys know how did I reach where I am. So I'll give you a little bit of a couple of hints here and there to let you know where I'm coming from, where I've been and where I'm coming from. Now, first of all, if you're a person who is struggling to heal and you do not know how to heal, first of all, you need to understand, is there a problem? That is one of the first things. You need to, first of all, confirm that with yourself, within your heart, within your soul. confirm that within yourself. Is there a problem? Do I really need to heal? And if I need to heal, what am I healing from? You know what I mean? Now, as a survivor of narcissistic abuse, of course, a lot of times we are suffering from codependency. You know, we have got this codependency syndrome. So we are really much, we have been made and conditioned to be codependent on other people. You know what I mean? For love or validation or support or things like that. So most of the times that kind of codependency is very dangerous because when you're codependent, you can as well never get a successful relationship. Most of the times you will be going into circles from one person to another, and at the same time, you always feel like something is missing. You know what I mean? So as a codependent, you also struggle with relationships, and sometimes even codependency brings out some toxic traits within people. Those could be something that they have always learned from other individuals. Like for example, if you're talking about a victim of abuse, there could be traits that they have actually learned from the narcissist that they have always been engaged with, whether they have been their family members, or whether they have been their relationship partners, or maybe sometimes friends. Number one, have you actually acknowledged that you have a problem? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning step of healing. You understanding that there's a problem and that problem needs to be fixed. You have been in abuse, yes, you acknowledge the abuse, you understand this has been abuse, and you really need to understand that, okay, so you have got to heal from this. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, when you have not healed those things that broke you down in the first place, it doesn't matter where you go. You'll always continuously keep on hurting other individuals. And most of the time, the people you're hurting, they're innocent people, they're innocent souls. And they have got nothing to do with your trauma or with your problems. So it is important for you to understand that you really need to heal before you start bringing in other people into your life, you know, whether they are just people that you want to be friends with, or whether you're thinking about relationships, intimate relationships. So it is important to heal the trauma, the things that have actually broken you down over the years, so that you can carry on with your life successfully. Now, when you have acknowledged the problem that, yes, okay, there's a problem, I really need to heal from this, I need to move forward with, with a positive mindset. What you really have to do now, you're going to go within and you have to ask yourself the questions. Who are the people? Because first of all, you have acknowledged the problem. Yes, there's a problem. There are wounds that are within you, and you have got to heal these wounds. Number two, you're going to first of all ask yourself the question: who are the people that have been responsible for causing you these wounds? So in this case, when you're talking about the narcissist, you have to sit down by yourself and go through out your life and see the people that have been a part of your journey, and that they have usually been continuously causing you some degree of pain, because that pain always sometimes it accumulates and develops into trauma. Now, when you have identified those individuals that, okay, so and so has been a part of me, and those individuals probably you have been abused or whatever, you have been, whether it has been physical, whether it has been emotional, whether it has been sexually, whatever way, in whichever way, shape, or form, you have seen now, you have identified those people that have been a part of that problem. So, what you are now going to do, you're going to let people go. So, if it has been your wife or husband, you are now going to release that person. You are going to make sure that you do everything in your power to make sure that you detach from those individuals, because those individuals, you're already living with a broken person, and you're never going to have a positive life with a broken person. That person is going to continuously going to hurt you until the end. So that abuse actually will never stop. So now what you do then, you release those individuals and you get out of those friendships, whether they are friendships, whether they are families. For the most of you guys who are scapegoats, you start detaching from your families. So for the most of you guys who are in relationships, you start detaching and separating from all, going through discards or discarding those individuals, those partners of yours that are causing you, that have caused you that amount of pain. Now, when that has gotten out of the way, you know that, okay, so those individuals are gone. You know, you've got them out of your life. You're now a free being. So what you do now, you have got to go through, you have got to initiate the no contact process, the no contact phase. You're going to go into the no contact phase. So that no contact is helping you to stop communicating and getting some kind of information from those individuals. You do not have to know what they are doing. You do not have to know what they have eaten. You do not have to know where they are going. So what you do now, you start the no contact, whereby you're now going to start blocking a lot of them, if not all of them. So that's why it's going to be a little bit painful, because now you're going to be forced to start blocking family members, because when you have identified that these are family members who are very, very toxic, now you're going to start releasing them and blocking all of them. So when the blocking has been achieved and you've successfully blocked those individuals, blocked them, you are now going to start, you're going to find there's something what they call your healing zone. What is going to be your healing zone? So your healing zone is not the same place where the abuse has happened. So if you've been a person who has been involved with a toxic family, your healing is not going to happen when you're still engaging the family, if you're not living with them, or when you're still in that family home. So it doesn't matter what you do. When you're still living with those individuals in the same house, or you're still communicating with them, maybe sometime you're talking together on the phone or you're calling them or things like that, that healing is not going to happen, because anytime those individuals, they sense this is something like a spiritual thing. And at any moment they sense this particular individual is trying to heal. So they're always going to come around and interrupt your healing process. So they're going to come around and start there, because they've been, these are like vampires. You know, while this abuse is happening normally, you've got to understand that these individuals, they're also leeching off of your energy. So when you take your energy away from them, they're always going to try to come back around and hoover you, try to send you these messages, come and see us, let's have a meal, or let's go out for a dinner, or the things like that. So most of the times, you're going to see them trying to come in and see if they can get back in your life, because they've been used to feeding off of your energy, because now they feel you're detaching from them and you've let them go. So they may sometimes try to hover you. So you need to make sure that you are standing on your own 2 feet, and you are standing strong and refusing those hovers, because you bring back those individuals into your life. Those individuals, they are going to intercept and interrupt your healing process, and that healing will never happen as well. So now I've told you guys, you're going to go out there, find your healing spot. The healing spot is supposed to be a place where you're going to start creating new memories for yourself. You know what I mean? Because the new memories are going to help you to forget the old memories, all the old things that have been happening prior your healing, the things that have been happening before in your life. You know what I mean? So, for example, me, you see me most of the times, I've told you guys, I've been doing a lot of these videos in this park. So, this park has been my healing spot. Of course, including the place where I live. I had to change the place where I live, get away from toxicity, and find a safe zone where I knew that, okay, so this is my safe zone. So it's some kind of a safe zone whereby you're going to be usually spending a lot of time by yourself. This time by yourself is helping you to reflect. It's helping you to reflect on life, to see the things that need to get done, to reflect back on the people that you used to engage. All these patterns that have been you have been involved in, they will always come to you, and you will understand those are the things that are not helping you in any way to evolve, and they were causing you a certain degree of pain. So when you have found that healing spot, normally I recommend you guys to come around and make sure that you always keep grounded yourself in nature. So you've always have to come around and connect with nature, because let me tell you something about these places. There is no toxicity here. There is only nature. There is birds here. Sometimes there are dogs walking around. There's a couple of trees. You can see them over there. There's rivers. There's lakes. Sometimes you guys live near some of you guys live near the beaches. Everything here is nature. So there's no toxicity here. And most of the times, I've told you guys, when you are getting absorbed in nature, you're also doing a spiritual cleanse. So this is some form of a natural spiritual cleanse, whereby your body and soul is detoxing from all these forms of toxicity that have been inflicted upon your life over the years. So you're going to go through that process whereby you're spending a lot of time in nature. You know what I mean? And normally it is important for you also to understand that when you have started this healing journey, try to avoid getting a lot of interactions with people, because most of the times when you get interactions with people, people are coming around, let us go for a beer, let us go to that pub, and let us go to this place. So people are always coming around to interrupt your process. If you're a person who is going to heal from trauma, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to do the work. This is something you're going to do the work, and most of the times you're going to do this work by yourself. So if you're not a person who is like strong enough, some people are not strong. Everybody has got their own weaknesses and their own strength. Me personally, I've been able to do this healing by myself. But there are some people who cannot do that. So if you know that you cannot do that, maybe you can find a therapist. It could be a psychologist next door or a therapist in town. Try to find somebody if you know that you can afford. Most of the times, a lot of people who have gone through different types of trauma, it's very difficult for them to afford this kind of therapy and the sessions like that. So most of the times, like me personally, when I left the narcissist in that time, I did not have the available finances to afford all these sessions. And even if I had the finances, I felt in that moment that I couldn't trust anyone. You know what I mean? So I couldn't just go out there and start giving my stories to the people to the people that I didn't even know. You know what I mean? No matter what their professional, no matter whether they were acting professionally or not, I could not trust anyone because in those moments I was very very scared about everybody. I could not really my intuition was at a low, so I wouldn't really know that this person was good or not. So I couldn't confide myself. I couldn't confide so much with therapists. So I did my healing myself. I did the job myself. But if you have the funds available and you can afford these kind of practices, you can always go and find the person that you can trust. Take some time to build a trust between those individuals, and then tell them your story, and they can give you some other methods you can use to heal. You know what I mean? But me personally, like I've said, this place that you see me most of the times doing these videos, this has been my healing zone. So I've used this place to heal. You know what I mean? Whenever I came around this place, I would come here, I would ground. Those days it was summertime, so the weather was nice. You remove your shoes. Sometimes you place your feet in the water. Make sure that you connect with nature as much as you can, as long as you can, as long as it takes. Because when you're doing that, you do not actually understand that you're actually absorbing these natural electrolytes from the earth, and your body actually is physically and also spiritually getting cleansed. You know what I mean? So you're physically and spiritually cleansing by doing that. Now there is no amount of time that is specified for an individual to completely heal. So these things depends on what has been your experience. Some people can spend years. Some of us are even still healing until this moment. There's some parts of us that we're still healing, but some people can take weeks, months. Some people can take years. It depends on everybody's different. Now, the other thing which will help you usually when you are a person who is healing from abuse, from this kind of trauma and everything. So you're also going to see to make sure that you educate yourself each and every single day. You know what I mean? If you have identified that, okay, so your family has been the problem, they have been your abusers. So you're now going to start researching and getting a lot of information about toxic families, dysfunctional families, understand the details. The information is out there online. Understand the details of how these people operate. You know what I mean? How does the narcissistic parent operate? How does the mother operate? And all these other family members, the flying monkeys and all these other abusive family members know how the dynamics work, the family, dysfunctional family dynamics. It is because remember that any moment you're giving yourself clarity through research or through reading or through learning some other things, you're also educating yourself. And the more you educate yourself, is the more you start to break these kind of traumas. You know what I mean? To break out of these kind of trauma bonds and traumas and everything. So you are actually healing by learning a lot of these things. Because the more you learn, is the more you understand that actually your decision to get away was the best decision you have ever done. You know what I mean? So it is a secret that you have got to know that it is very, very important to continuously educate yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The information is there. The books are there. For the most of you guys who like reading, go out there and buy the right books for you. That you can always research on these online platforms. Buy the books you need, learn as much as you can, educate yourself as much as you can, and then after that, you are going to try to speak about it. Now, I do not encourage people that immediately you've gotten out of those situations and you're starting healing this trauma and everything. You start all of a sudden immediately talking about it. Take your time. You know what I mean? Take a couple of months. See that you're coming from a good place, because most of the times, if you want to start speaking about these things, sometimes they're going to reflect in your content. You know what I mean? If a person likes to speak about it, maybe online, or you want to start your own YouTube platform, or the things like that. Most of the times when you're still suffering and in that pain and things like that, it is always going to reflect in your videos. So get your time, take yourself some moment. Take some time, take some months, work on yourself first, and then of course you can eventually start speaking about it. Because by speaking about these things, also you're releasing that energy out into the universe, and you're understanding these things. You're acknowledging that this was a problem, but now you're able to speak about it and release it out there into the universe, so that you can start healing from within. You know what I mean? Now, the other method which I think I would talk about is try to find a way of eating better. You know what I mean? Try to find a way of eating better. Change your eating habits. Try to find that, to make sure that you eat the right foods. You know what I mean? Go out there and find the right foods, healthy foods. We're not talking about a lot of these fats and whatever. Don't go around there and trying to engage yourself in all these sausages and porks and things like that. Try to make sure that you eat a healthy diet. You know what I mean? If you want to know about diet, I'm not a nutritionist, but you can always go online and find the healthy ways, that you can engage and starting eating and start to develop very healthy eating habits. You know what I mean? Eat as healthy as you can. You know what I mean? And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, very important to know as a person who is healing from trauma, you need to understand who is helping you. It's very, very important. This actually should be the first one. Make sure that you understand who is helping you. Because you see, a lot of times, there is so many people out there, there's a lot of these doctors, a lot of these therapists, people who are in professional positions, they are actually the problem most of the times. A lot of those individuals, they even toxic themselves. You may sometimes find that your own therapist is an abuser. Your own therapist is a narcissist. Your own therapist is a psychopath. So make sure that you use the little discernment that you have to make sure that you understand who is helping you. When you get the right help from the right person, that person is going to help you to get somewhere in a better place in life. So those are the ways, ladies and gentlemen, you can start to heal emotional trauma. If a person who has been going through some form of abuse, there are some of the ways you can use to get out of that place and get to a good position in life. So until then, guys, you always know I love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session with me if you want to. You might always donate or support to my channel if you want to, or everything you need. You will find it in the description section below. And until then, guys, it's always lovely, guys, to have you guys aboard. Much love and blessings. There's Amos signing out, and I'll catch you in my next one. Peace.